14 facts about YouTube you probably didn't know. In fact, many of us sign up to get notified directly when a new video appears that might interest us, showing just how much YouTube has become a part of our digital lives. But beyond knowing it's popular, free, and international, not too many people know just how influential YouTube is, nor do they know how it came to be the behemoth it is today. Below you will find some facts and figures about YouTube that will help demonstrate how much of an impact this social video site has had on our culture and society, and it will make you think a little bit more about the massive community that exists behind the website we all know and love so much. But that YouTube launched the way it did actually represents a pretty big shift in the original purpose of the site. Most people don't know the original concept for the site was for it to be a dating platform. However, shortly after launching this idea, co-founders Jod Karim, Steve Chen, and Chad Hurley found out that people didn't really want to upload videos of themselves for a dating website. To get people into the idea, Karim, Chen, and Hurley went to Craigslist to try and find people to post videos, a move even they know was questionable, and they even offered women $20 if they loaded up a video. Knowing they were onto something but realizing dating wasn't the answer, the three co-founders decided to switch the focus of the site so that anyone could upload a video to the internet. The first video, Me at the Zoo, which was posted by Karim, went up in 2005, and from there, the site quickly took off and became the internet institution it is today. Instead, PayPal's role was to employ the three people, Jod Karim, Steve Chen, and Chad Hurley, who would later go on to form YouTube. Just think, if these three people desperately needed renovations on their home, or if they'd been itching to take a sabbatical and travel the world, YouTube as we know it today may have never come into existence. For some, the part of this fact that falls into the things you didn't know category might be that YouTube is not an independently run company. Instead, it forms part of the conglomerate Alphabet, which is made up of Google and some 200 other smaller companies. Considering how powerful both Google and YouTube are on the internet, it should not be much of a surprise that Alphabet is one of the most valuable companies in the world. This just shows how ready the world was for streaming videos to become a part of their lives. They went from being PayPal employees who used their bonuses to launch the site to being multimillionaires in a matter of just a few short years. There is a bit of debate as to whether or not YouTube is a search engine or a social media site. Those who consider it a search engine use the fact that one must search for content to watch it as an argument to support their position, but advocates of it being a social media site point to the site's dependence on user-generated content as a means for classifying it in the same category as sites such as Facebook and Instagram. But let's leave this debate aside for a moment and just pretend YouTube is a search engine, because, if this were the case, it would be the second most popular search engine in the world, behind only, you guessed it, Google. This means the site's parent company, Alphabet, possesses the world's two most popular search engines. Of course, if you choose to not consider YouTube a search engine and prefer to think of it as a social media site, this doesn't take away from its considerable reach in today's society. According to the Alexa rankings of websites around the world, Google and YouTube are the two most visited. People can upload videos from anywhere in the world, and they can attract viewers from all over, as well. These country-specific editions of YouTube make it easier for people to find content more relevant to them. Anyone can post a video about anything, and pretty much anyone can watch it. While most of us see this as one of the characteristics of YouTube that make it so valuable, there are some people out there who see this as a threat, specifically those in power who have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo and limiting the discussions going on that question the current order of things. To make things more interesting, Saudi Arabia, which blocks access to almost all social media sites, controls the content published on TV and still has laws in place that can make it difficult for women to leave the house without their husband's permission, allows unlimited access to YouTube, which is part of the reason why Saudi Arabia is one of the countries that uses YouTube the most. Over the past 10 to 20 years, the price of cable has increased at a rate that far exceeds the rate of inflation, making it disproportionately expensive for most people. There is some debate as to whether or not this is cheaper. There are now multiple streaming services, all of which charge you, on top of the rising cost of high-speed internet, but it certainly helps disgruntled cable customers, of which there are many, feel good to say adios to the cable companies after so many years of being raked over the coals. YouTube has a considerably larger reach than cable, which is not good news for the telecommunications companies. So, you've decided you want to make a splash on social media by sitting down and watching all the content published on YouTube. To do this, you would need to live at least 57,000 years, and that's assuming no one uploads a single video between now and when you finish watching, which isn't likely. Overall, we turn off just around 1/4 of all videos we watch on YouTube before they reach the 10-second mark. If we're not impressed right away, or we think the video we've chosen to play isn't going to be good, we click off it without giving it a second thought. According to a study by Pew, of the people who use YouTube, nearly half of them log on to watch a video at least once per day. This type of usage stacks up with that of other popular social media sites, but people generally use Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat more regularly, with between 60 and 75% of people using it every day. The entire world's population is only about 7 billion people. This means almost everyone on the planet old enough to use the internet is watching at least one YouTube video per day. Instead, it's more likely users are watching multiple videos in a day. But the fact that so many videos get watched each and every day shows just how deeply ingrained YouTube is in our digital lives. It has been a few years since YouTube first introduced advertising, and while it's pretty annoying for us as users, these ads are what keep the company going, allowing it to exist and continue as a platform where people can upload and share their homemade video content. In total, YouTube generates more than $11 billion in net advertising revenue. One of the reasons it can earn so much cash for its parent company Alphabet is because YouTube, by its very nature, knows a lot about you. It keeps track of all the videos you watch, the subscriptions you keep, and the content you share, and then it displays ads that are highly relevant to you. However, judging by the revenue it brings in as well as its massive following, it's safe to say YouTube is a pretty valuable company. Because YouTube does not exist as an independent entity due to its association with Alphabet, it's difficult to get an accurate number on the company's market valuation. This just goes to show you how powerful Alphabet is. It controls both YouTube and Google. At the moment, there are only about 4 billion people in the world with access to the internet. It's impossible to know when YouTube will stop attracting visitors, but with large swaths of the world's population still awaiting reliable internet access, primarily in the ever-expanding Asian and African markets, we can expect YouTube to continue to grow.